Here we go. Today, we're going to talk about how time moves in this industry. This video is going to be really directed for DJs and producers. I'm going to talk about my experiences and watching different people grow, not grow, get stuck, and give up. And I'm going to kind of give my 2 cents on why I think these things happen. So I think, and sorry, I'm going to have some water. I think in order to understand this, I want to talk about me a bit. And I've been in this industry now for 18 years. There's been super highs and super lows, and then within all that, it's been an amazing journey. And all these years later, I would have just never guessed to been here this long, this later. And I say this because the time has gone by so fast. Like, even when I say the 18 years, it just blows my mind away. I still can't fathom that it's been this long. But within all that, there's been lots of chapters. And within all those chapters, there's been different local and developing DJs and up and comers and even headliners that have come and go over the years. And most of the time, I believe that some go because maybe they had a really good career option and they weren't seeing the success they wanted in music and DJing, and they had this awesome career opportunity, and they decided, you know what, I'm gonna be smarter or more safe and go down this career path. And some of them maybe kids or family or husband or wife. Some of them maybe just things never really worked out, and all that all that all those negative hits over the years, all those no's, all those maybe rejections just added up, and they decided to throw in the towel, unfortunately. And then there's been some that have just stuck around this entire time. I've seen them. Some of them have been around longer than I've been in the industry, are still around today. Some of those never really had a moment. Some of them had a moment and it fell off. Some maybe a 10-year run to today, and they just overall just had this plateau. They never went to this next level. And just watching all these years, I think I've been able to identify a lot of reasons on why this happens. Hopefully by maybe going into these, it'll help some of you. I'm sure there's other reasons as well, so I don't want to say that this is the bible to why someone didn't go farther than they did, but I think I've been able to pinpoint a few main reasons. And I'd say the first is the most important. And when I'm considering managing someone, these first 2 points are the two things that I look for before I even dig into the talent, right? The first one is like ruthless hard work. And a lot of you probably think you're working hard, go into the studio a couple hours a day to work on some music, and you dig for new records for your set, and you practice and you make some content and this and that. And really, that's like elementary level work. When I say ruthless hard work, I don't even sometimes know how to put it into words, but I think the best analogy I can put together for this is to compare to a high level sports athlete or an Olympian. And these people train their entire lives from early elementary school, middle school, high school, 7 days a week, exercising, training. If they're swimmers, they swim every day. Um, they do all this for this moment to maybe enter the Olympics or go pro if it's a different type of sport. And there's no guarantee of it, and there's no money on this entire journey. More likely that they're spending money on trainers and different things and traveling and this and that. And again, there's no guarantee they're going to even enter a pro a pro form of that sport or the Olympics. And even if they enter that, that doesn't guarantee that they're going to be at the top of that game. Um, so they dedicate their whole life to this. They sacrifice normal childhood experiences, normal teenage experiences, partying on the weekends. Whenever you listen to any of these documentaries, you hear that they put all this stuff aside for this chance to be the greatest of all time, to win at the best level, to leave their legacy, their mark in this industry. And I don't know at what level all of you are looking at, but I'm gonna discuss this at that highest form of level, right? And it's that hard work that will make the difference. And so often I'll be flipping through my Instagram or TikTok, and I'm looking at these local or developing DJs that I've been keeping an eye on. I put them on my shows. I'm like, man, this person's talented. I'm really interested to see where they go. Maybe in another year or two, they'll have put the right pieces together where a management just like conversation could happen. Who knows? And then I'll see them doing some BS stuff with their friends or playing video games or some other random hobby or this or that or anything but being focused on their career. And I use this Olympics pro athlete thing because I do truly believe it's all that sacrifice and going 100% all in on this insanely hard career to make it, because anyone can be a DJ today, right? A few dollars for music if you buy it. I mean, you can pirate it. You could pirate the softwares if you want. You can buy an all-in-one DJ controller for a few $100s to a few $1,000s. So the barrier to entry is fairly cheap, and then at that point it's just practice until your talent gets better, and then do all the other things to grow your personal brand. So literally anybody can do it, whereas in a different sport, basketball, at a bare minimum, you need to be tall and then you need to be talented. And then as a football player, you definitely need to be stocky with a different type of mass and speed. And then at that, then you need to have talent secondary to all that, right? Here, anybody of any walk of life, any sexual orientation, any size, short, tall, small, fat, skinny, whatever it is, if you want to make an attempt at it, you can do that. So your competition is way, 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 way broader. So you need to, and out of all those people, I would assume 99% of them or more are not going to make it. So if you want a chance at making it, you really need to outwork all of them. So I would say that's like the number one main reason I see people just never move farther than they are. Number two is the mindset thing. It's an execution thing. A lot of people get really stuck in their head that this isn't good enough yet. It could be better. I'm not ready to show the world. I'm afraid to put this out there and get rejected. And I've had these conversations with DJs where they're like, yeah, I got like 5 or 10 records, and I'm like, dope. Send them to any label, even the smallest label right now. You can level up later, level labels later, but for now, let's just start putting something out. Something is better than nothing. Get something out, and they're like, no, the track's not ready yet. I'm like, who cares? Put it out. The bar will be low. Then the release you do after that just has to be a little bit better. And the release you do after that has to be a little better. And so on and so forth. And maybe 10, 15, 20, 100 releases better. You will be in a place you want to be. And in that entire process, you've built a resume of music where people can look back and see your story on how you got better over time. And maybe that track that you don't even think is that good, 3 fans out there like it and they follow you. And now you have 3 more fans than you did yesterday. And it's a small number, but those small numbers can add up over a long period of time. And 5 years from now, all that stuff can add up to a place where you're now a tangible artist that has some value. Versus if you're waiting for that perfect moment, it may never come. And in my experience, those people that are waiting for their perfect moment, it just never comes. They never end up releasing anything, and years go by of me telling them every time I see them, they ask me for advice, and I'm like, "Have you released that music yet?" And they're like, "No." And I'm like, "What are you waiting for?" "How no, I have something new I'm working on. It's better." And I'm like, "Cool, you could have released those other 10 records already, and some labels would have heard you, and you would have put yourself out there and start building your resume. But as of now, you're exactly where you were 5 years ago, except maybe in your head you think you're a little bit better." And those are the two big things right there. If you solve those two problems, you're gonna make huge headway. And why I say that those two are slightly better than talent, and I know I'm gonna immediately get beat up online for this initial comment, But if you have that ruthless hard work and that ability to execute, then the talent thing is easy, because if you're hardworking, then I can just be like, follow these couple people on YouTube, get in the studio with this person, do this, do that, do that. Your talent will get better because you're willing to put in the hard work to get better. It's the people who won't execute, or the people who are procrastinators, that won't go farther because their mind gets in their way. So, number one and two, ruthless hard work, the ability to execute and put yourself out to the world. The next thing that I see that really slows people down is the no more cringy stuff. It's the social media, it's the content, it's the promoting your shows, it's the promoting your music. For some reason, artists believe that their music should all do the talking, and that they're artists and DJs and they're not promoters and they're not marketers. But at the end of the day, you have two roles to fill. On the music side, you need to be able to get streams or sell the music, and you need a fan base in order to do that. And on the show and touring side, you need to be able to sell shows, whether they're free shows or ticketed shows. Your job is to have a fan base there that will fill those venues up. And if you don't have these two things, then I hate to break it to you, what you have is a hobby. And if your goal isn't to monetize this thing and to become a professional touring act or musician that's putting your music out to the world and signing with labels and hopefully generating an income so you could support your life. It doesn't need to, you don't need to be rich to do that. You don't need to make the biggest amount of money, but if you want to be able to support your life with music or DJing, then you need to be able to generate revenue for promoters and labels. And if not, it's just a hobby and there's nothing wrong with that. I think a lot of people, I have hobbies outside of the things that I do, and they're just fun. I don't get paid for them. I don't care if I ever get paid for them. They're the fun thing that I do. But if I think I deserve to get paid for that hobby, then I need to figure out a way to attract business to that hobby, right? And yeah, get over the cringy stuff, the content. I like me right now staring at this camera. I hate it. It's awkward. There's zero interaction. There's no human. I'm talking to someone who's going to potentially see this, and maybe they're going to like it. Maybe they're going to hate on it. I don't know. I get insane anxiety before I film. Once I usually get the first few seconds going, it's easy. You'll get over it. It will do dramatically big changes in a positive way that will help your career, promote your music, tell your story, do what you can to garner fans, not followers. And I'm going to go deep into this with another video. Followers don't matter that much. Real fans that will stream or buy your music or show up to your shows, that is what matters. That is what changes this from a hobby to a career. And then, so I think that covers about everything related to that specific topic. But before I wrap this up, I want to talk about something that's important to me, and it's helped me in my success. And I think it will apply to all this. There's an amazing book called The Compounding Effect. I highly recommend it. I forget the author's name, but I'll find the link and put it in the description of the video. But there's audiobooks too, so you don't like to read. Spotify Premium has audiobook of it, and I'm sure there's other platforms that do. But essentially, and it's a long book that goes very in depth on how powerful this is. But to overly simplify it, um, if you do a little bit every day, it garners a big result, right? And earlier I spoke about how that mediocre track might only get you 3 fans, but if every month you put out a track, and those tracks should get better, the more you do, the better your productions get. And every month you maybe put out a free download or some other free piece of content. And every month you put out a mix. And on the top of that, you're just really on top of your content game. You're going to see real fans start showing up and discovering you. And maybe this month it's 3, and the next month it's 15. And then in the month after that, it's 50, and then 100, and then 200, and then 500. And then before you know it, a couple years go by and you have a real fan base, not a follow or Instagram count. I mean, that will be part of it, but a real fan base that's there because they like you, the artist. They wanna buy or stream your music. They wanna show up to your shows wherever they are. They wanna buy your merch. They wanna take their hard-earned money in some way and support your music because they become fans because you put in this work over a long period of time, versus the person that is waiting for that perfect moment, and years go by, and in those years, they haven't gained any fans because they haven't put anything out to the world for fans to become a fan of. And then when they finally do start, if they ever do, they're years behind where you are because you started this today. And I apply this to everything I do, even this YouTube thing. I dedicate 1 hour a day to this. Within that hour, maybe I'm recording, maybe I'm jotting notes for future ideas, maybe it's social media stuff, but within that hour, I'm dedicated to this specific project. I do the same thing with other projects. Some projects require more than an hour, but at a bare minimum, I would tell you to do an hour. If you could do more, do more. The best way I can equate this to is like going to the gym. If I go one day, if I go today and then tomorrow I miss it, and then next week I go twice, and then I miss it for a couple weeks, and then I go back for a couple days, and then I miss a couple months, I really don't make any positive gain health wise or looks wise, right? But if I dedicate 1 hour a day and I go to the gym every single day, 5 days a week, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, I'm gonna feel better. I'm gonna look in the mirror and I'm gonna like what I see. And it's because of that consistency, it's because of that compounding effect over time. Because the more you work out, the more weight you're able to do, or the more reps you're able to do. And the same thing can be applied to your career or to any other aspect of your life. Um, so, with that being said, I think that's a wrap. I hope some of you get something out of this. For those of you who might disagree with anything, please tell me why in the comments, and I'll respond as soon as I can. For those of you who thought this was valuable, please please tell me your success stories one day. And in the meantime, subscribe, comment, like, share this video, and share it with some friends. It helps us grow. It keeps us motivated. I'm really enjoying this so far, and I want to keep doing more. And thanks for tuning in. I'll see you on the next one.